Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts with another boxing, another offline product game review. This is Dead Space Remake for the PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here just says it's at the base of the version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.0. Now, sadly, there was an update available. This update size was 1.2 gigabytes big, and will take you to version 1.0.4 since the time making this video. Now, like always, I did play my games completely offline with an unregistered account, and though I cannot claim my experience was flawless, I did 100% complete Dead Space Remake, and as well, I was still unlocking trophies with my unregistered account, and I am pretty darn close of unlocking the Platinum Trophy with the game. Now, I did beat Dead Space on hard difficulty. I did even beat the game on New Game Plus and got the secret ending all completely offline with my unregistered account. As I said, my experience was not flawless. I did have the game crash 5 times on me. This is combined both the first time through and the second time through, so 5 times in total. And most of this has to do with near the ending of the game. Right as you're about to go to the planet. And I want to keep that in mind. Both times the game crashed on me when it was the final fight with the final boss. So just keep that in mind. If you're at the final end of the game, you might want to save periodically, like make multiple saves just to be safe. So in case like a save might get corrupted if it crashed during a saving, just to be safe, you want to make sure you're saving regularly because the game could crash. As I said, it was mostly at the ending of the game, but you never know with crashes. I was having audio bugs. This is mostly due with the stomp ability, where it would stomp and no audio sound whatsoever, no smacking down on the ground, no grunting from Isaac, and no sound effect of anything exploding like a box or the ground. So that was basically the only audio issue I had. Maybe some little hiccups here and there that I just wasn't aware that was an audio bug because some of the sound effects in the game, but that was the main one. As well as that during loading time, the game can be a little fuzzy at certain moments, like long distance, like observing, and it's pop in occasionally, like graphics or assets will pop in occasionally. But these are very minor issues. That this fuzzy graphics thing, you might hear other people talk about it, like when you're in a tram and loading up the next level or in the elevator, you might see like the jaggedness of Isaac's armor or some of the environment. That's because the game's loading and maybe reducing the graphics a little bit to make it easier for to load the rest of the assets in the game. This isn't a big deal. It's not like game breaking or issue, but you will notice it. And those are mostly the only issues I had. I did have occasionally enemies getting stuck in environment. Mostly these little creatures that jump on you and cling to you. Once you like smack them off of you or stomp them in the ground, sometimes they get stuck into the environment or the wall. And then sometimes the game would think that the enemy is still alive. So I had like the game's audio or music, that event happening, even though there's no enemies on the screen. I did have that pop in here and there as well. But overall, my experience was flawless. The only biggest gripe was, of course, the 5 game crashes. And as I said, it was mostly at the end of the game. That's with both the first time and the second time playing through New Game Plus. So, again, it is disappointing because I never had like the original Dead Space crash on me consistently like this one. But Dead Space Remake, and to jump right into it, because I am a big fan of Dead Space, and I personally do believe the Dead Space series is better than the Resident Evil series. That's not saying Resident Evil series like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 1 GameCube Remake and so on are bad games. I just simply love Dead Space. I've played all 3 of them, and I've pretty much platinumed all 3 of them, the original PS3 games. So to come back to play the remake was a given. Now, this is actually the first game I've ever bought at full price at $70. And the only reason I did that was not just simply because it's Dead Space, is that I want to kind of person who says to vote with your wallet. And I'm one of those people who keep getting on EA about constantly releasing multiplayer games. And well, here it is, a single-player game with no internet requirement, no microtransactions, just straight up a single-player experience. And like always, you got to put your mouth where your money is. So if I'm saying that this is what I want, I should pay and support it. So I'm glad I got it for $70. Though, I did beat the game in total. It probably took me about 30 hours to beat the single-player as well as New Game Plus. And again, some might argue that's not worth $70. The value of games is up to the individual. I'm not the kind of person that says it should mean money is worth about how long the game takes. There's plenty of games out there that takes too long and it's just filled with shovelware and shovel content. Dead Space is packed with a amount of good kind of gameplay. The improvements are enormous compared to the original one. the character interactions, the stories, the environments more traversal. I love some of the extra explorations, though I'm not too big of a fan of the security doors because they don't feel really rewarding and they feel very shoehorned into the gaming experience. But I do appreciate them. They gave some value of backtracking, as well as I love the interactions between the characters. They're a lot more dynamic and fluid between the characters compared to the original game. I love that how Isaac Clarke has voice acting now. Beforehand, he was a silent protagonist. Now he actually gives tidbits, as well as you get some deeper lore about Isaac and his mother and how him and Nicole met, and about a little bit more connection about Nicole and his girlfriend. And just the overall story structure was a lot better. Now, granted, some would say this is far superior than the original, and there are some things that I feel the original one did better. I can't really go into details because some of them are involving environmental exploration, but I do believe that, like, say, Isaac's death scenes, I think some of them were better in the original and certain death scenes compared to the remake, as well as at certain environment, like pacing and stuff like that. There was an area where, like, all the room was completely bright. It was very uncomfortable. That room moment is completely axed in this game, and I was really disappointed that. I was really eager to see that until I realized they took it out. But everything else was great. I love the gameplay. I love the mechanics. Though I want to point out a quick issue about mechanic-wise. The original Dead Space allowed you to customize the control sensitivity of both the camera speed as well as the aiming speed. Sadly, during this remake, they decided to put the camera and aiming sensitivity as one. So if you reduce the camera aiming speed, you reduce the camera speed. So it's very hard. The camera aiming is too fast, and slowing it down for some reason greatly slows down the camera speed. I had to drop it down to 30 horizontal and 30 on vertical. That's about the best I could go with it. Even then, it's still too fast with the aiming. It's not as fluid and as on point as the original one as I would have liked it. That was the only that's the only mechanical issue I had. The other improvements is, of course, including all the benefits of the original other Dead Spaces, like Dead Space 2, like instant using stasis, the recharge, the navigation flying around. It's got the Dead Space 2, as well as that you can set the controller layout to be exactly like Dead Space 2 if you wanted to. So that was extremely nice in that. But overall, Dead Space Remake was a phenomenal experience. I had to drop everything I was playing to come play Dead Space Remake, and I don't regret it. I'm eager to run through the game again. I'm eager to run through hardcore mode and try to platinum a game, because I've platinumed every other Dead Space. I don't think I platinumed Dead Space 3 because I think there's an online trophy with that one, but overall, this is well worth a pickup. Is it worth $70? Again, the value of games is up to you. And like I said, we're constantly getting on EA about making these kind of single-player, don't horn in online, no microtransactions. Well, here it is. Here's that game you've been asking for. Here, are you willing to spend the $70, the full price? That's up to you. But to me, I stick to my word. I've been getting EA, so here it is. I spent the $70, and I hope they get Dead Space Remake 2, because the game was phenomenal. I know they're going to pretty much have everyone hounding on them because the game is being successful, and I'm really glad to see it. I don't know if it's going to be as successful as EA would want it to be, but to me, it was a phenomenal remake, and man, I still enjoyed it, even with the little gripes and issues I had with it. The game is just phenomenal. I really enjoyed the game. And that's pretty much everything you've been hearing about the game. I can't really think of any other issues. I did think some of the audio dialogue between the characters can be a little awkward at times in certain interactions and stuff, but I don't know. It's definitely better than the original, because the original one wasn't as very cinematic, very narrative driven by story of characters talking and stuff like that. This one's done as a lot better for my personal taste. Is it good as like what we come to expect nowadays in games? But maybe not. But they did a darn good job with this one. I'm glad and proud to have this physical copy on my shelf, and it worked generally great offline completely with an armorist account. So like always, I will include the links down in the description. If you instant copy, it gives my glowing review of yes, pick it up. It's well worth it getting your physical copy, even for your offline experience. So thank you all so much for watching this unboxing video. Hopefully down the road I'll be able to cover Dead Space 2 Remake very soon on this channel, because I'm eager waiting for that one as well. So again, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next unboxing video. Bye bye!